What's going on, y'all? This be your boy Scotty, and we're here for another edition of Bitch Are You Serious? I know it's been a long time since we did one of these, but we are in here for Bitch Are You Serious? Alright, so we gonna kick it off. I know, like I told y'all, I'm trying to do a light reboot, okay, by trying to give you guys more videos, more commentary, more content. You know what I mean? Because like I say, I always get life and everything else. It always deter me from doing the things that I want to do or what I like to do sometimes. And I just want to do better with this channel, honestly. So we're going to get right on into it. So let's talk about this topic. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to title this video, but y'all going to know what I'm talking about by the time I'm done telling the story, okay? So, have you guys ever had a friend that you are always having issues with, and it's never on your end, it's always on theirs? They're always at you, they always got a problem with everything that you do, and it always comes across as a competition, but not on your side. It's always on their side. They're always trying to compete with you about every little thing, okay? So I got this friend, and we've known each other since high school, but we became friends a couple of years ago. And one thing about him is that I do feel like that he has a good heart. He can be a good person at times, but sometimes he can be very sneaky, very shady, and not to mention he can be competitive. And I'm an Aquarius man, he's a Scorpio man, so you already know how that goes. I read before that Aquarian men and Scorpio men, their friendships is more like competitive, is more like a competition, but it's never on the Aquarius side, it's on the Scorpio side, honestly. And it's always been like that. For example, there was a guy that we went to high school with, and there were rumors about him being on the down low before. And I know that when I was working at the dollar store, in management, of course, we was working at dollar store in management, and he came to me and he wanted to know about a job. So I asked him, do you have a computer at home? Because you can't do your application on your telephone, you have to do it on a computer. He said he didn't have a computer. So being that I knew him, and being that we grew up in the same neighborhood when I was young, I was like, well, you can come by my house and you can use the computer there, and I'll help you with the application step by step. So the guy came up to my house, but come to find out, he wasn't there for an application. He was trying to apply for something else, if you know what I mean. And we did not have sex, but, something happened, but we didn't have sex, I would say. We fooled around, but that was it. So, about a couple of, about a month or two later, me and this said friend was on the telephone one night, and we were just talking, and he was talking about, in our hometown, there was like this Facebook scandal with someone like straight up outing all the DL guys in the city. And the name that came up was the guy that I mentioned that was at the store that asked about a job. And he was like, for so many years they've been saying that he get down and all of this stuff, and I just want to know if he get down or not. Now, me being me, I am not the type of person to out anyone, so I didn't say anything on the phone. Like while he was going on and on and on about him, I didn't say anything. And then he started saying how he wanted him and how he wanted to screw him, of course, and all of that. So he kept on going on, and I ain't say nothing. So he was like, why you didn't say nothing? Why you ain't talking? Why you ain't say nothing? I'm like, I ain't got nothing to say about it. And he was like, oh, you must have already had him. And I ain't say nothing. So he was like, Scotty, come on now. And I'm like, and then he was like, so you did. So I'm like, I mean, it wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it really wasn't nothing to me. He was like, well, why you didn't tell me? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, it's really nothing to tell. Like, it's not like I really wanted anyone to know about this anyway. So, it is what it is. Like, why would you, it ain't nothing I want to talk about. You know how you have somebody on your list and you just delete them the fuck off? That's how this person is. I ain't really want nobody to know about that. So he was like, well, I want to talk to him. And I'm like, well, go ahead. He ain't none of my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, he probably somebody else's, some girl's nigga. I don't fucking know. But, it is what it is. So if you want to talk to him, go ahead. Just, but just don't discuss him with me, because that would be awkward as fuck. And he agreed. So the next day he called and he was like, guess who I seen? And I'm like, who? You know what I'm saying? Who you talking about? He mentioned the guy that we just spoke about the night before, when I just told him that we don't need to discuss him. So he was basically trying to brag to me about how the boy was in his DMs and talking about how they need to meet up for a drink and all of this stuff. And I'm just sitting up here like, okay, you know, whatever. Like, you know, like it's like he was bragging about the situation. I mean, at the end of the day, like, who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? So then on top of that, it was like almost a year and a half later, he had mentioned to me, no, we was at, I think I did a video about this actually. We was at our friend's house, and it was like 4 of my friends, 2 of my homegirls, and one of my best friends, but that's just someone that I hang out with from time to time. Like, you know how you have a person like, she cool, but she'll never know none of my business? That type of person. He pretty much blurted out the fact that I kind of messed with the guy in front of everybody, and everybody didn't even know that. So I was very pissed about that. You know, he do stuff like that. Like, he'll straight up blurt out something that I told him in confidence, and he'll just straight up tell my business. Or not to mention, there's a guy that everybody thinks is on a deal, that everybody thinks really likes me, but on my end, I don't feel like he does. We're just really, really good friends. And just because it was suspected that the guy liked me, here he go, leaving hearts up under the guy's picture. And I'm like, anything. Or there was this dude that I was like about 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was in a relationship with this guy, and I caught him up under his picture basically flirting with him. Now, my man at the time wasn't flirting with him back, but I knew that he was. So when I checked him about it, oh, I don't want him, he ain't even none of my type. Okay, if that's the case, then why you flirting with him? You know what I mean? Or why you doing this and why you doing that? Because if I flirted with your nigga, you would have a problem with that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, he'll always try to one-up me on everything. Like, if I say I'm doing something, he always trying to one-up me, try to make it sound like he doing so much better than me, or doing this or doing that or whatever. So it's just crazy to me. And sometimes I be wondering, like, is he really my friend, or is he a friend of me, or whatever he is? I don't know, but he really need to chill out with the bullshit, because, you know, it just comes across the wrong way sometimes. You know what I mean? So I get to questioning myself. So then so the moral of the story is, the reason why I'm making this video is to get y'all opinion on this situation. So one time we went to a bar, and it was me and my best friend, and then he came and brought this guy with him. So apparently, you know, he had, from what I know, he had just gotten out of a long relationship with this other guy, and he was saying that he was single, ready to mingle. He was gonna, you know, be a whore or whatever, because he just want to get this guy out of his system. And there's nothing wrong with that to me. Like, if you single and you ready to mingle, you just got a relationship and you want to fuck a few times, then I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? So he brought the guy to the bar, and when I first saw the guy, I felt that the guy was attractive, because he looked like the type of guy that I would normally date anyway. And so, you know, we was all vibing and stuff, and I thought, you know, he was really friendly with me, and you know, we were just cool. So I said, do you have any friends? Because I saw how nice and attentive he was when my friend was getting drunk and shit. So I'm just like, do you have any friends? Because you seem to be a cool person. He was like, no, I wouldn't dare introduce you to none of my friends. All my friends are whores and blah, blah, blah. So next thing you know, after we met the guy, my friend started coming to us saying that, you know, he don't like him. He just using him to get over his ex-boyfriend or whatever, and all of this stuff. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like I said, why would you use somebody the same way that you just got used? I don't think that that's right. You know what I mean? So he just brushed me off every time I was telling him the truth. So then he complained to us again, and he was like, the dude went off on him, and he basically said he don't know what the fuck he going off on him for because he was never nothing to him in the first place. And I was like, well, he really liked you, so therefore, if you're playing with his emotions, then he has every right to curse you the hell out. I mean, I would have cursed you the hell out. You don't play with nobody's feelings, you know what I mean? I just felt like right is right and wrong is wrong. Like, okay, you're not looking for a relationship, fine, but you should have just told him that, and maybe he wouldn't be catching feelings and nothing like that, or trying to be involved with you, knowing that you don't want him like that. Well, he ain't none of my type, he more of your type anyway, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but you can't use nobody and then get mad at them for being mad with you for using them. You know what I mean? Like, you can't treat a person the same way that you just got done crying about being treated. It's not right, and it ain't cool. Like, treat people the way you would want to be treated. That's the advice that I was giving him. So then he was like, well, Scotty, if that's the case, why don't you fuck him then, since you see so much good in him? And so I was like, well, first of all, I don't do that. And you know I don't. I don't go behind my friends. I'm not going to do that. And he was like, well, it's not going behind me. Like, at the end of the day, he wasn't nothing to me. We never slept together. We were never in a relationship. Hell, we really wasn't talking. It was only a week. Like, when I brought him to the bar to come see y'all, I only knew him for like 3 days. I'm like, so it was only a week? And he was like, yeah. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So I kept to that. And then anytime I would see the guy, because he followed me on all social media, so anytime I would see the guy or anytime he would hit me up, it was always on some platonic stuff. It was always friendly. It was never nothing like that. Because again, I had made it clear that I was not going to do that. But he kept saying, no, I don't give a fuck, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But then one night, we were having a conversation, and the conversation kind of went left. So I was like, okay. And all I could think about was the fact that I had this conversation with him, and he was like, I don't give a fuck. You can have him because I don't want him. He more of your steez anyway. Like, I was just using him. So if you want him, you can have him. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So what I did was I did eventually go to my friend, and I told him that the guy wanted to talk to me, and he wanted to holler at me. He wanted to shoot his shot. He wanted to do whatever. And he was like, well, I don't care. I told you like 2 months ago that I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. Like, if you want to talk to him, you go ahead. And I'm like, I don't feel right about this just because you used to talk to him. And he was like, I didn't talk to him. I said, well, what do you call it then? We just conversed. I brought him around y'all one time, and after in a couple of days after that, it was over with. So you ain't got nothing to worry about. I just don't want him to come between our friendship. That's all I care about. And I was like, well, okay. And he said, because I don't want him. You got my blessing. Y'all look cute together, honestly. He should have been with you in the first place, not me. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, well, that was mature. Because I thought that it wasn't going to be a mature conversation. Being that our relationship is always on the up and the down and down all the time, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, to be quite honest. So after the situation at hand, I had started talking to the guy or whatever. And soon after that, I had made a post on Facebook one night, and I had said something about the guy. And then, you know how people react to stuff on Facebook? You either love it, you like it, you're angry at it, or you're sad at it, or you're laughing at it. So when I made the post, he laughed at it, and I felt like he was being shady. And then he made another shady status behind it. And so I'm like, okay, I thought we just talked about this already. We talked this out like grown-ass men about this situation. He said he never had no ties to him. He was just someone he just met. He was just trying to use, and that they never screwed, never did nothing like that. But now he want to sit up here and take shots at me. So I was furious, and I was mad, and I was like, okay, if you really don't like the situation, why would you say that you did? So I didn't speak to him for a couple of weeks. And then when we finally did talk, he said, I wasn't being shady, blah, 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 blah. I said, so what was your point of laughing at the status when you know who it was about? And he was like, well, at the end of the day, I just laughed at it because I thought it was funny. But he said that it wasn't like that. And then he gonna say, like I said, I didn't want him coming between us. And I said there was no way he could come between us. I would never allow a man to come between our friendship at all. But my thing about it is, you said that you didn't care and that you wanted us to be together. So what is it? And he was like, well, I don't have a problem with it, like I said, blah, 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 blah. But again, he said he don't have a problem with it. He said that he was fine with it. He said that he was okay with it. He said he wanted us to be happy. But then he proceeds to throw salt. Oh, you need to watch him because they say he a hoe and blah, 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 blah. But what's the point? Because at the time when he was saying that stuff, I was just sitting up here like, bruh, like, I don't give a fuck about nobody's past, okay? I have a fucked up past at that. Like, come on, bruh. Like, who am I to judge anybody for their past? Like, I can't necessarily say that I was a whore, and I can't necessarily say that I have a lot of sexual partners, because I don't. But I have a fucked up past with men. I have a man that I was dating a person that got engaged on me before. I dated someone who was in love with a whole nother person. Like, I've dated a man who was down low, was talking to me and one of my homegirls at the same time, and I ain't know. Like, I haven't had the best track record with men. Like, I've had good men in my life, but I also had terrible men in my life. So I'm not here to judge a soul. At the end of the day, what was for me is for me. That's how I felt at the time. So, you know, till this day, it's like the relationship is still kind of crazy because even now, like he's always at me. Like we like say for instance, this past week we went to Dallas for a trip for our best friend's birthday, and we argued the whole trip. I wanted to fight him the whole trip, and I just felt like I was like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, do you want to release some pressure or something? Like, do you want me to eat your ass? Like, do you want me to kiss you? Do you want, like, what do you want? Because you just at me and I don't understand. And he was like, I don't bump pussies, blah 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 blah. And I was like, look, like, I'm considered a femme, I guess, and I like other femme guys from time to time. So if you want to mess with me, if that is that the reason why you give me so much aggression, then please please blow off your steam on me, please, so you can stop coming at me the way that you've been coming at me. That's all I'm saying. And it's like we argued and fought the whole trip, but then we get drunk in the club, we're holding hands, walking through the club together like two gay bitches. Then we dancing with each other on the dance floor. Then we're so drunk, we're sitting in the back seat of the truck, and like he's so drunk that he leans, because I'm sitting in the middle and he's sitting on this side, so he leans over in my chest, and then I'm holding him like we're in a relationship or something. Like, that's the type of friendship we got. It's so fucking weird, you know what I mean? But my thing is, the moral story is, was I wrong for talking to the guy even though he said that he didn't care? Or should I just left well enough alone despite the fact that he said that he didn't care? What is your thoughts below? I'm very interested in reading them. I'll talk to y'all later. Till next time, I'll holla. Peace.